Yo, welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we sit down, pull up a chair, and we get started. This podcast is designed to provide you packed full of information to help you with your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and well-being, where we interview myself through case studies to give you lifetime experience. And then we also interview high-performing individuals or other career-focused people who are looking to make changes in their lifestyle, training, nutrition, and well-being. So let's pull up that chair and let's go.
Awesome. So when we did this webinar for the first time, it did go like significantly over time, and then we split it into our gut health and our sleep seminar. So last seminar was all about gut health, and this one complements it very nicely because you're going to learn today how sleep and gut health are actually related. Oh, you get to meet me again. For those of you who don't know me, obviously the happiest day of my life was when I met Peppa Pig with my niece, who is probably 3 years old there. She turns 8 this Friday, so I'm really excited for her. I already sent her birthday present off today, actually. And the things that are really important to me, my family, honesty, loyalty, strength, and love are my values that are actually tattooed on my spine. Wasn't the most painful one. Next slide, please. So I love to travel, and obviously gym and coffee, food, bushwalks. I say I would be in the wrong profession as a dietitian and a wellness coach if I didn't like food. However, it wasn't always like this. So there was a time in my life that I actually didn't like food, and that is more related to the gut health webinar because I was that adult that cut out fruit, that was scared of eating carbs, that cut out vegetables, that was eating 1 egg a day when I was going to high school. As long as I was getting my over 90%, I was happy, but I was actually miserable, obviously. Mood swings, I got down to a very low 40 kilos. I was very frail. And I even remember at one point, it was all about how low can you go. And I remember being able to run in the beginning and then not being able to run, and then it turned into walking, and then walking just couldn't even walk how frail I was, and it turned into spending a whole summer watching TV shows, and kind of fell through the cracks because there was a lot going on in my family. But I've noticed there's a gap. When we go to high school and we finish high school, coming out of high school into uni, we don't get taught these things. We don't get taught about healthy eating. We don't get taught about sleep. So we go into uni or TAFE or the workforce, and we have a tendency to think that if we are getting the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep, we're not trying hard enough. There's this saying that says, you sleep when you die. You're not meant to sleep that much throughout your life. Like, you're not trying hard enough. You're not working on your business hard enough. There's this whole social media reputation going around. And really, I'm here today with Carl to break that myth for you and show you why sleep is so important and why we should get taught these things along the way too. So who can relate to that saying that you sleep when you die and you need to work on your business, and even just puts pressure on themselves? Put your hand up if you've ever put pressure on yourself to stay up all night, you were drinking coffee, studying for exams, or just working on your business late at night, your emails, for example. Yeah.
Yep, last night.
Yeah. Well, you're going to learn why this is not good for you. And life does happen, so I will be kind and compassionate as well. So first, I want to explain why sleep is like a dishwasher. So when we go to sleep, we actually experience the whole day again, backwards, and we're getting rid of the gunk, literally. So we're going, our brain is going through a whole day, but without the physiological responses, without the release of the adrenaline and the cortisol, without that gunk. And it's also getting rid of all the nasty stuff so that, when you wake up, you feel nice and refreshed after a good sleep. And people who are sleep deprived, they're always moody, right? Yep, been there, done that. So poor sleep doubles the risk of heart disease. doubles the risk of heart disease. Now, let me tell you a little bit about heart disease in Australia. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in Australia, and it kills one person every 18 minutes. 79 people a day die from heart disease, and poor sleep doubles the risk of heart disease. Now, I went to Heart Association Australia and I looked at the risk factors for heart disease, and they list blood pressure. 1/3 of Australia have high blood pressure. They list high cholesterol. 45% of Australian adults have high cholesterol. Being overweight or obese, 67% of Australia's population is overweight or obese. Smoking, we have 3 million smokers in Australia. Physical inactivity, 83% of adults don't meet the National Physical Activity Guidelines. 83%, that's huge. They also list alcohol and diet. There's one really big thing missing from their website, and that is sleep deprivation. Given that poor sleep doubles the risk of heart disease, and they don't have sleep deprivation on that list of risk factors, 10% of Australians have sleep apnea, and 80% is actually undiagnosed. So just some facts there to put things into perspective, how important this is. The ability of our immune system to recall bacteria and viruses is influenced by sleep. So when you get sick and when your body fights it off, and then we have this new kind of a blueprint, we actually need sleep to make sure this blueprint of remembering that virus or that bacteria so we can fight it off easier next time. We need sleep for that. We're not sleeping, we're not actually improving that blueprint. And as little as one night of sleep deprivation, this one is crazy. I think this fact is crazy. As little as one night of sleep deprivation makes you as insulin sensitive as a type 2 diabetic. Whoa. So type 2 diabetes is the fastest growing chronic disease in Australia. And this is very much in line with overweight, obesity, and sleep apnea. So all of these numbers are increasing because we are not sleeping enough. We are putting so much pressure on ourselves to be good business owners, to get out there, to do all the things, and we're not getting enough of the sleep to actually support us through our goals and achieving these things. Next slide, please. So very often we think of sleep as a head thing, right? So we go to bed and we count sheep in our head. We've got little visuals. I'm a visual person. I used to count sheep a lot, but either also as a kid, I actually used to create little kind of stories and picture films in my head to try and get to sleep. And it's very much associated with the head because of that counting sheep and trying to kind of relax, right? So your thoughts are running and racing. So you're trying to calm yourself down and try not to think, and then you keep thinking. But the sleep is actually a huge gut thing because of the gut-brain axis. So the gut-brain axis is a very, very real nerve called the vagus nerve that connects the gut and the brain. And 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut, and you would remember this from our gut health webinar. And serotonin is the precursor to melatonin. And this is another huge fact. The gut actually contains 400% times, 400 times more melatonin than the pineal gland, which actually does these changes, chemical changes. So low levels of serotonin are associated with insomnia. This becomes really, really obvious that why low levels of serotonin are associated with insomnia is because serotonin becomes melatonin. So if we don't have enough of our happy chemicals, we can't get enough of our sleep chemicals. The microbiome helps regulate sleep. Sleep helps regulate the microbiome. It's a two-way street, literally. So if we don't get enough sleep, we're wrecking our gut. If we're wrecking our gut, we're wrecking our sleep. Two-way thing going on. Now, we all have different types of gut bacteria. It's the ratio that matters. what kinds of gut bacteria we have, it's always the ratio. Like we've got good guys and bad guys. We want a nice steady ratio. We don't want any one type of gut bacteria to dominate. And we can improve our gut health. And even if we have a bad guy, like parasite in there, and that often goes undiagnosed as well, we can actually use competitive exclusion this means eating for the good guys. Competitive exclusion means eating enough of the good foods for the good bacteria, which is going to optimize our serotonin production, which is then going to optimize our melatonin. Next slide, please. So basically, fix your gut, fix your sleep. The gut microbiome is influenced by many things. Yes, it's not just diet. It is nutrition or diet. It is physical activity. It is sleep. It is light therapy, getting sunshine. It is impacted by our mindset as well, and our stress response. Stress is a natural human thing. We need to understand how we're going to optimize our stress response, how we're going to respond to it. Now, the easiest to control out of these things is actually nutrition, because we decide what goes on our plate and what goes in our mouth and what we eat. So there are specific nutrients that act as precursors to sleep hormones, neurotransmitters, and processes. So this is what I'm going to get into now. I've listed those good sleep nutrients, and you can write some of them down that you feel you're not getting enough of. And then at the end, you'll see I have a little bit of a summary of how this actually is incorporated into your day. Next slide. Good sleep nutrients. First up, we have one of the 9 essential amino acids, tryptophan, key building block of serotonin, and you find it in turkey, chicken, lobster. I don't think many of us get lobster. Eggs, cheese, tofu, pumpkin seeds, peanuts, spinach, spirulina. Then we have the amino acid glycine, improves deep sleep time and decreases wakefulness. This is a really common complaint, the wakefulness throughout the night. Just people keep waking up throughout the night. So glycine can help us with that. Beef, chicken, turkey, peanuts, quinoa, spirulina, salmon, Brazil nuts. And if you compare these two lists, you can see that chicken and turkey are both there. So a good one to write down is chicken and turkey, because you're getting both glycine and tryptophan. And peanuts also doubled up there as well. Good sleep nutrients, vitamin C. I just want you to remember that vitamin C is heat sensitive. So we can find vitamin C in berries, capsicum, kiwi, papaya, broccoli. But like your broccoli and your capsicum, because vitamin C is heat sensitive, you want to lightly steam it or stir fry it, not overcook it. Vitamin D affects genes involved in the circadian rhythm, reduces daytime sleepiness. So there are some food sources of vitamin D, which include egg yolks, sardines, oysters, shrimp, and mushrooms. If you didn't know, mushrooms that actually grow in the sun have more vitamin D. They absorb it from the sun, just like us. We're basically mushrooms. So definitely also promoting safe sun exposure. This is what I mean by light therapy when I listed what affects the gut microbiome, getting out there in the sun. Vitamin B6 is a cofactor in the tryptophan serotonin pathway. So I've already listed tryptophan, but we need vitamin B6 for this pathway to happen. It relaxes the nervous system. So think yogurt, salmon, avocado, tuna, eggs, chickpeas, sweet potato. I want to highlight that eggs keep coming up as well. So things that keep coming up so far is chicken, turkey, eggs. Next slide, please. Potassium supports sleep cycles and reduces waking as well. Avocado, green leafy veg, salmon, sweet potato, black beans, white beans. So that sweet potato has been listed a few times now. So has avocado. Calcium deficiencies cause REM and deep sleep interruptions, and you'll find calcium in yogurt, sesame seeds, kale, spinach, chia, almonds, beans, lentils, and your greens. Magnesium is actually involved in over 600 reactions. it reduces the sympathetic nervous system and turns on the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight response. So it actually helps reduce that, and it turns on the what's the saying? Rest and digest for your parasympathetic nervous system. So it induces anti-anxiety effects, reduces cortisol, and improves melatonin function. You find it in pumpkin seeds, and I want to highlight pumpkin seeds have been listed a few times. Avocados have been listed a few times now as well, and it's here for magnesium. Almonds, leafy greens, tofu, black beans, spirulina has been listed a few times. So have black beans now as well. Next slide, please. Good sleep nutrients, omega-3s. So you get deeper, more restful sleep. DHA in particular reduces symptoms of sleep apnea. Chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, and salmon are our omega-3 sources. And there is a blog post up on my website about why you want more than 2 capsules of fish oil daily. 2 capsules is not enough. Like, literally, ever wonder why they come in such huge tubs? It's because you're going to realize you need about 10 to 14 of those standard omega-3 tablets to get the recommended amount of omega-3s. And eating fish once or twice a week is not going to give you enough omega-3s to help reduce inflammation. Now, that was a lot of different types of nutrients and foods. Some of them repeat. And I want to highlight that this is actually the Mediterranean dietary pattern. Really interestingly, the Australian dietary guidelines are getting a review. I'm really excited about this. Where are you going? We're on the Mediterranean diet.
There's no wine there in that list.
There's no what? Wine?
There's no wine.
You're funny. I want to highlight all those foods that I listed are in the Mediterranean dietary pattern, and also our Australian guideline to healthy eating is getting a review. So they were actually made 10 years ago, and now they're reviewing them after 10 years, and they are moving closer to the Mediterranean diet. Now, this is something that I have actually been preaching for gut health, and I have been optimizing gut health in my clients, been doing this for the past 3-4 years since I learned about gut health. Yes, you can see that meats are way up the top there. The Mediterranean diet actually recommends red meat once a month. And this is also in relation to what's happening in the gut as well. So you can see, look at the bottom of this Mediterranean diet, like physical activity and enjoying meals with others. We have moved so far away from tradition and sitting at a table and talking to each other and mingling. And this is so important for, again, setting yourself up to go to sleep, getting those things off your chest, checking in with your loved ones. We're failing at this. We need to relearn these things. And then you can see a wide variety of colorful fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and olive oil is there as well. And then we go into the seafood, then we go into the poultry and the dairy, and at the top there, we've got the meats and sweets. Less often, like I said, once a month is recommended. Yes, we do have the wine on the side there. It's on the side for a reason. Other considerations. So let's talk coffee and health. There is a blog post up on my website about coffee as well. Now, research has actually shown up to 4 cups of coffee a day is beneficial for our liver health. And I've listed a whole lot more benefits to coffee, because coffee is a cherry bean and coffee has a lot of polyphenols, absolutely, and antioxidants. And this actually does improve our gut health. However, when it comes to caffeine, coffee, pre-workouts, fat burners, green, black tea, all the sources of caffeine, we have slow and fast metabolizers, and this depends on genetics. So literally anywhere between 5 to 8 hours is how long it takes you to have half the amount of caffeine in your system. So research has actually showed that participants who had coffee at 2 p.m. lost 1 hour of sleep. They lost 1 hour of sleep compared to people who didn't have coffee. And this could be the difference between where you are and where you want to be in terms of weight loss and muscle building. Because a cool fact about weight loss is that we lose weight when we sleep. we breathe it out as carbon dioxide. And you can't go around all day breathing heavy and lose weight like that. It doesn't work. You actually need to be sleeping. Exactly. You need to be sleeping, breathing it out as carbon dioxide. So there's no use running around breathing heavy all day. It's not going to happen. And as well, we build muscle when we sleep. So that 1 hour could be the difference. Added sugar steals sleep. Yes. So we talked about black beans. We talked about sweet potato. We talked about, I think lentils were in there as well, legumes. These are complex carbohydrates that do not steal sleep, but added sugars like sweets and treats and that stuff, processed foods and ultra processed foods, that actually reduces the quality of our sleep. Now, I also want to highlight that we are quite unique on how carbs affect us. And this is something that I know Carl tracks really well with his clients, and a little bit of trial and error and correction helps to figure out what helps you sleep better. Alcohol steals sleep. I don't even think I have to say that, but I'm saying it. It was on the side of the Mediterranean diet. And then we have some sleep supportive mushrooms. Ashwagandha is my favorite, and also chamomile tea is my other favorite. Yeah, I've got here something different, I think, but yeah, look at us matching. That's hilarious. Next slide, please. If only it was that easy. So I really want to highlight small changes over time make a difference. And when Carl continues, he's going to give you a whole lot of tips, and I want you to keep in mind what will have the most impact for you now. What is the easiest change that you can make that will have the most impact? So that might be more water throughout the day. And I really want to highlight that life happens. Like Carl just admitted before that he was up last night doing work stuff. Absolutely, there are times that I am up as well, studying and doing things. And also like, I did like a few challenges this year, which really, it was hard to get back into a sleep routine after that, of getting up at like 3:30 and doing the challenges. And then it pushed my whole workout till later, and then it pushes my sleep as well. So life happens. We have different seasons in life when we're focusing on different things. We're either focusing on, improving personal development, or we're focusing on our training and we're focusing on our sleep. So just little things like that. Next slide, please. And this is just an example which really shows you what improved sleep can do. So here we have 3 photos of my back, because I'm obsessed with my back, because we built a great back. You'll see it all over social media. I'm back girl. So thank you, Mum, for taking this photo in May, right before she left to Perth, when she actually got to meet Carl. Such a privilege for her. And you can see that I'm a bit fluffier, right? So we take skin folds, and I was at about 13.6%, and I went to the biosignature and looked that up. I was sitting at about 69 kilos, a little bit fluffier, but you can see I've got my muscle there. May, and then June, July, 2 months later. So my average sleep in May was 6 hours. My average sleep in that first photo was 6 hours. 2 months later, I only lost 1 kilo, but look at that percentage drop. And I had 7 hours of sleep average. That is, like, Carl's critiquing me, obviously, just checking out my lats.
I'm just showcasing. Less lat here, more lat here.
Yeah, right. And look at this. So I went from 6 hour average to 7 hour average, and look at the difference it made in me being leaner. And then September, a more recent photo of me, I've gone up a kilo, but so that's the same weight as picture 1, but I have 8 hours average sleep. And I really, truly believe that the reason that I am able to maintain my physique leaner than I was in May is the 8 hour sleep, the 8 hour average sleep. Because first picture, 6 hours, last picture, 8 hours. And I'm eating more, I'm lifting more, I'm stepping less, which was not part of the plan, but it's happening. and just that difference from 6 to 8 hours. So I really want to highlight how important it is to get your sleep. And there was a time where I was surviving on 5 hours of sleep. Absolutely. 4.5, 5 hours of sleep. I was so grumpy. I was hard to deal with. I have to apologize to Carl for literally like having to deal with me like that last year in particular. And when we just started working together, my sleep was all over the place. And slowly, literally it took us like, what, 9 months? Almost a year to get on top of my sleep habits and my pattern. And this is why like now I really value my sleep, because I can see the results, and I'm wearing my funny looking glasses that Carl's going to talk about as well, because I value it, it's important, and the results are there. Next slide, please. Over to you, Carl.
So one thing that Kathy talked about, which I'm a fan of, is nootropics. So this is reishi mushroom. It's in a tincture. Squirt it in my mouth. And I rinse it. And I swallow. So the quickest way to get supplements into the body is through the mouth. Not so much through pills or capsules. Food is pretty good. The challenge with foods and supplements is it has a period of time before it takes effect. So anything you can usually get in a liquid or in a powder form is going to have a greater impact, primarily because you're just going to absorb it a lot faster, is what Kathy's saying. So one of the things that like I personally was interested in is that Mediterranean, they don't do much red meat, but they do a lot of white meats. So that's the difference between the meats at the top and the meats at the bottom. And a lot of the time, these foods break down more easily. Same thing with supplementation. How the inner me is just like, oh, but what about chocolate? End of the day, it's always more ideal when it's powdered form. Another thing would be is who here has consumed so much food that they have a food baby and they go to lie in bed?
Oh man, spikes.
So hands are up. And how many times have you ended up sleeping more because of it? Or you've ended up getting the same amount of sleep of what you used to, but there's a disruption, you feel lethargic the next day, and you're like, oh, like my eyes are heavy or my body's heavy. So an interesting concept is that what Kathy's been telling us about is with the gut. The thing is, and stress, it's normal, but we have a period where we tend to overstress ourselves. So whilst talking about that, understand is that stress is a thing. Food can also be a stressor when it's too much. So something you can easily do for yourself today is whatever you're going to eat today, take your time to chew it, take your time to eat it. So boss man's home. And, don't force feed or don't rush the process. So if you guys have had a big day, take time to take a few deep breaths and then just take your time to eat. Maybe you only eat 80% of your food because you know that you had a big day, and that might be something that can make a shift for you. So something we do is earlier dinner too. Yes, I've talked about that as well. But a little thing you can do is talk to your coach, get them to do a body comp assessment and pinch your side. So your suprailiac is your short-term carb side. So if you're consuming 150 grams of carbs, so 540 grams of rice, like myself and Eddie, I'm 360, Eddie's a lot more, so it's Kathy, but you eat that much, and then the next day you pinch your side. If it's up, you're consuming too many carbohydrates in that meal, in that post meal, and if it stays the same or goes down, it's enough. And if it goes down, it means you can handle more. So that is a quick little thing you can check. But Carl, I don't have calipers at home and I'm not going to see Eddie till next week. What do I do? Great question. What you can do is eat the carbohydrates and see how you feel tomorrow morning. If you feel energized, fresh, rejuvenated, it's probably enough. If you feel sluggish, lethargic, like you overconsumed, like had a food baby, then probably you've consumed too many carbohydrates for your body. Or if you feel you ate a good amount, but you change the carbs, so you go from white rice to brown rice or to potatoes, and you notice that shift in your body, that is also a sign that that carb doesn't work for you. Trial and error and correction is key, 100%. So let's dive into my slides. and let's power through all these hacks. So that's the purpose of what this is sleep hacks. And then we're going to have a bonus for you at the end of it. So, Kate, you gotta come over here for a sec. Number one, this is Kate, mate. This is my partner. And for those that can see, she's charming in the video. This is an appreciation for her because obviously I like to test everything out. And she obviously is part of my experiments. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. When it comes to having a food baby, I steal her pillows. I'm like, they're on mine, go away. So I can be a bit of a savage when it comes to sleep because I love my sleep. So a little bit about me. I've competed in CrossFit Games. I've torn my adductors. I've caused myself injury. Yes, I make spelling mistakes, but Da Vinci Code, you guys will get it. I've run different companies from Strong Fit Effective, focusing on just gymnastics. I've worked on massage clinics and health spaces. And now, obviously, we're at Vitruvian Health, and it's at the forefront of personal training, combining everything that we do. And a lot of the time, through the years of what I've done, I've really found that there's a lot of myths around sleep. For example, naps can't help you catch up in your sleep. Well, the truth is, dealing with same-day sleep, if you get 7 hours of sleep, let's say you get 5 hours of sleep. Shit, what do I do? Oh, my God, I'm going to be type 2 diabetic. I can't eat my carbs. Well, maybe you should stop, have a 20, 30-minute lap, get some sunlight, chill on the grass, and that'll be a way to help you catch up. It's also a nice way to break up the day, because if you're thinking about your whole day, you're tired, you're lethargic, you're probably not going to have great concentration. So if you have got excellent concentration, your memory's poor, you slip up with words, like ha, then you probably have a sleep debt there. So that's a great sign that you've probably got to get on top of your sleep, and it can be an indication that maybe you need to slow down. I can't slow down. I need to work harder. Okay, bit of a conundrum there. And this is where obviously coffee comes into play, which we're going to go through later. So it has the pros, it has some cons. Exercise at night disturbs sleep. Well, yes, it does. It increases your core temperature, just like eating an hour before bed. These will increase your core temperature and your heart rate, and it can affect your ability to go into deep sleep straight away. So recommendation usually is people should train between 2 to 4 p.m. It's actually a great time, but again, it also comes down to preference. So if you're someone who sleeps around like at nighttime, or you trained an hour before you go to bed, well then maybe looking at cold showers or looking at certain supplements, as Kathy showed us before, can definitely help you with that. Hitting the snooze helps you feel extra rested. Truth, the fragmented sleep you achieve when snoozing your alarm is not restorative. Further snoozing can disrupt your REM sleep and lead to worsened mood and drowsiness throughout the day. It's best to set your alarm for the time you need to be up and avoid the snooze. I really had to read that whole thing in that tone to really get a point is, if you're setting multiple alarms, you've got to make a change. So let's quickly address what the hell is sleep. Well, interesting stats about it. It's going to improve your heart rate. It's going to decrease cancer. It's going to decrease stress and decrease inflammation. It's going to improve your ability to memory, concentration, focus. It's going to help with weight loss. It's going to make you smart, improve your sex drive. It's going to make you feel more cognitively alert and obviously enjoy life and be a much, much, much happier person. If you get less sleep, you're a grumpy person to deal with. So let's go into the first part, which is really, when it comes to this, you need to be asking yourself, how am I going to track my performance? James, we're good to go? James, we're good?
Yeah,
Excellent.
all good, all good.
So when it comes to really all of these hacks, let's be honest, they probably won't all work for you. Well, honestly, they probably will, but how do you know? Well, here's Kathy when she started. Here's Kathy now. If you look at the before and after photos, you can see a difference in body comp. Here's Giuliani here. Here's Giuliani now. There's a difference in body comp. Here's Kate now. And the funny thing about Kate is when she did this photo, we weren't even trying being the word, to get this body comp. She literally was just like, drop something, lean forward. I'm like, oh, cool, you got abs now. And Kate's biggest one was stress management. And really, the interesting, as I said, she's a guinea pig. So it's Kate, she's great, and that's why she's guinea pig. But Kate needs about 8 to 9 hours. I function well on about 7, 8. So we're two different humans, but it works best for our body. So when Kate gets that 8 to 9 hour sleep mark, her body comp does look very good. But when she works quite hard, she doesn't get enough of the deep REM sleep, so it does get affected. All right. Second thing you can do, so if you're like, I don't like progress photos, pick an exercise, pick 2, pick 3, and use it as an indicator lift. So if you were to do each of these exercises, and go figure, if you work with us, then we definitely already do this for you, but we track the data. We want to see if you're doing a 30 kilo back squat today, will you be doing 35, 40, 50, 60 in the future? Now, We'll talk more about it, psychology for it. But the other thing to know is that if you're not getting stronger, then you're not progressing, and sleep can definitely be an indication for it. If you're choosing to do less than 6 reps, you're going to find that your central nervous system will be a little more irritable. It's really annoying. Will be more irritable, so you'll find that you'll be a lighter sleeper. So if your program has you doing functional hypertrophy or relative strength, doing the lower rep ranges, pushing heavy, like submaximal work, you're going to find the nervous system is going to be upregulated. So you could hear me clap here, and you're all the way in Sutherland, at Maniranda, and you two are going to wake up just because I clapped like that, because you're like, fuck, that car guy's clapping again. Your nervous system is so wired when you do the heavier stuff. Now, how to really capitalize on sleep is start to train more the hypertrophy side or have finishes at the end of the program. So if you're doing heavy squats, make sure you do a set or two, like the leg extension or lunges. Everyone loves lunges. Or Stairmaster, James, and go for long distance, 20, 30 reps, really chase that muscle pump, and that will help your body go into a deeper state of sleep. So just something that you can look at with your program. So using indicator lifts. So if you're lifting super heavy, 2 to 3 reps, you might notice that can cause an irritation to your sleep. Some people are different. Like I just conk out even more, but everyone, this is why you should have an indicator lift. And as I said, track. Now, using the body comp system that we use, you can do weigh-ins, you can use Oura Rings, Apple Watches, Garmin's, Whoop, Fitbits, or journaling and scoring your own memory through tests, through apps. The thing to understand is this is a tool to assist. It is not something that dictates your life. I've seen it way too much where people are like, oh my God, my Oura Ring, the score's like 70. Oh, it's the end of the world. I can't believe I had such a crap sleep. But the moment before they looked at it, they're like, I feel really good. I'm going to have a great day. So don't let it dictate your life. It's just a tool to go, maybe I need to work on that. Question someone. Nope, someone's mic's on. Alrighty, so what is sleep? Well, what it used to be, or what I used to think about it, is everything was based off 90-minute cycles. You should go to bed at 10 p.m. so you can maximize deep sleep. That's where you get muscle growth. To 2, and then 2 to 6 is all cognitive functions. So if you're waking up between 3 and 4, or your body cognitively, you're going to struggle tomorrow. But don't worry, you're going to have muscle mass to support your body to move forward. And if you woke up between 20 and 75 minutes, so before 20 or after 75, that was okay. That's what I used to think sleep was. So if anyone was going, hey, Carl, I go to bed at 11, I'm like, you're an idiot. You need to fix that right now. You're going to bed at 10. But no, shut your mouth. Bed at 10. Yeah, but I finished work at 10. Well, you should sleep on your desk. And that's how you're going to improve that body comp. However, it's a little bit different. And really, sleep is based off a cycle. Because if you think about it, if this was really what sleep was, hell, everyone should be sleeping 7.5 hours, or everyone should sleep 6 hours, or everyone should sleep 9 hours, because it's based off 90-minute cycles. That's not how it works. As I said, I work well with about 7. Kate works well with about 8 to 9. So that just proves a myth right there. But it actually works through cycles, or how it works really, if we break it down, is we're awake. We then lay in bed, and we start to chill out a little bit. And then, maybe you're talking to your partner, maybe you're on your phone, and then you start to go into light sleep. So you start to doze your eyes, that jerking action. Then you fall into deep sleep, and then eventually you'll go to REM. Or this is a simplified cycle, which is really you're awake, then you start to sleep, so you start to doze off, and your body will really go between deep and REM sleep. So it's not just between 10 to 2, you're in deep sleep. Your body will prioritize really what it is you need. So if you're using the mind a lot, you're going to find that you're probably going to get more restorative sleep. Problem is, mentally fresh, but I'm putting on weight, or I'm feeling physically tired, or my posture, it's just, or you're getting a lot of deep sleep, body's looking good, but man, my mind is just wandering. So there's little things to understand that can happen. Really, it's a correlation between the two, and we're going to look at how can we capitalize on that deep and the REM with these little hacks. Next point is that beliefs and habits of sleep. So this is just contents of a table that we're going to run through: beliefs, habits, environmental hacks, intakes, coffee and its true half-life, breath work, Vitruvian Core 4, my main one habit, and how to implement all these hacks. So let's get into the beliefs and habits. So the first thing to understand is your beliefs and habits are really what's going to set you up. So understand is that whatever you do in the bedroom, sleep, get changed, have sex, well, if it doesn't involve food, if it doesn't involve comedy or anything, get out. If you're waking up at 3 and you're like, oh my God, I hate that I wake up at 3, my mind's racing, get out of the bedroom, watch a video, watch a movie, do something. If you don't just lay in bed thinking, because what you're going to be doing is you're training yourself. You're training yourself to go, oh, it's okay to do this. So the challenge that some of us have is like, oh, how do I stop myself from procrastinating or go to bed? You've already conditioned yourself to be doing that. So just remove it and do it elsewhere. So then when you're ready, you put the phone down and then you go to bed. And you start to retrain that. So the first thing to really do is get comfortable sleeping anywhere and get into the routine of what you do for sleep. So if you every night, great. Make sure you do that every time, same time. Mix it up a little bit, but getting to that routine. If you're doing it in a train station, then go sleep in the train station. If you're going to do it in someone else's place, do it at someone else's place, then go sleep. Get into the routine of whatever you do to go to sleep. That's the routine that you want to have. Number 2, what do you think before going to bed? Don't create a superstition. I have to, I must. Just understand that it's okay to sleep. Or instead of saying, I need to sleep, have a new belief, I don't need a lot of sleep, or I deserve to rest. It's time for me to just relax. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep. If I don't, that's okay. So really just removing the thought that you have to get it done. Yes, 7 to 9 hours is the gold standard. It's the key. That's what we want to achieve. But making it so hard for yourself. Like if you make it real simple, 3 things for the bedroom, that's it. Everything else done outside. And then when you go to bed, it's time to relax, chill out, or I've worked hard today, or it's a restful day. I have a thing called Fat Cat Day. It's where I just eat lots of fats and I laze about, and sometimes I'll go have a nap and I'll sleep or for longer. But it's just really allowing yourself and knowing that if you rest more today, you're going to be able to perform more later. Because remember, if you're getting good sleep, you're going to improve cognitive function and memory. And for me, it's all about cognitive function, having the ability to recall this information literally like this. So number 4, I'm worth it to rest it. Know what it takes for you to fall asleep. So consistency, like I said, if having sex before bed, that's what does it for you, then make sure you implement those things. For me, I have a routine where, for me, it's just having a nice hot shower and then going cold, and up I get and off I go to bed. Now, if you don't have a partner, there are other solutions. Don't worry, we'll go through that. Meditation or sleep solve complex problems. As I said, everyone's different. You can write a gratitude journal. That's what Kathy used to do when we really started to get into the top of her sleep, is finding gratitude through the week or through the day. I personally do a gratitude journal. I do a lot of writing, but now I just can just do it off the top of my head. So I'm grateful for a lot of things. Like today, I'm really grateful for what James did in the meeting. And to me, that just leaves me in a more positive state. And then I chill out and go to bed. And I have a magnesium cocktail with reishi, which Kat just named me. Or the other one, mind dumps. If you've got a lot going through your mind, just dump it on a piece of paper. Because the thing to understand is when you get into light sleep, you actually produce, you're in theta state. So when you're almost about to fall asleep, when you're in theta state, does anyone have a guess what happens?
You have lots of ideas.
Yeah, 100%. So when you're in peak state, you're in stress state, you're like, go, go, go. You're getting a lot done, but you're not being creative. You're not thinking a lot. The problem is, when does this decline? And I'll show you a chart. I'll just power through. So what happens in our usual cycle is we have stress that comes all the way up and melatonin stays down low. Stress starts to taper off, melatonin spikes up. And for a lot of us, this is when we start to wind down at home. We turn the lights down. We go from, this is our work environment. Lights are all above our head. This actually artificially makes it feel like the sun's still up. But when it starts to come down, we actually start to then produce this melatonin. Now, if we're working in an environment where the lights are on and cortisol is peaked, what happens to melatonin? It takes longer to take effect. So if you're at home and the lights are off, you're starting to chill out and relax, great, that melatonin kicks over and you're like, ooh, it's time for sleep. But if you've got that phone on and all that artificial light, that cortisol is still peaking And then it's probably about this time when you like that 10, 11 o'clock that you go to bed, and then you're like, oh my God, I got all these ideas. So that's when we get caught out. So just knowing, remember, biggest thing is chill. It's going to be okay. Like, just get up, sit at a table, mind dump, write a whole bunch of things on a piece of paper. Just note to self, don't go, oh, I won't turn the lights on and I'll scribble on a piece of paper and like, I think I'm writing this. It doesn't really work well. I did it to like 6 pieces of paper. I wrote down heaps. I thought I wrote down like a master plan of how I was going to crush it. And then I woke up and I'm like, oh, a 2-year-old was drawing on paper. Great. Like I mind dumped in that moment and I felt really good. But then I woke up, I was like, oh, probably should turn the light on. So yeah, mind dump. Wake up, get it going. The easiest thing is don't hit snooze, just get up and go. Okay. Work hard, train hard. So your body needs to, like, you got to earn your sleep. But the way to treat it is if you got energy, just go hard. For a lot of us, if you're in like routines where you're like playing with your phone, you've just got energy and you're wasting it and procrastinating. So maybe just get up, do a few more squats. As Kemi said, what exercise can you do? Literally, arms up, big breath, and then exhale. Sit in a squat. Big breath, stand up, open those arms, and then exhale, squat again. Tracking pros and cons. We talked through this one. Don't be a judgy. So at the end of the day, this is probably the biggest one for everyone is, you guys are going to get a lot of things, but just so we're clear, you are still going to fuck shit up. You're going to make mistakes. It happens. And this is where Kathy, a lot of people I work with, they really do hate me, but they appreciate it. Where if they make a mistake, I go like, well, Eddie, well, James, well, Kathy, what did we learn? What are we going to make a change? Like, we're humans. We're going to make these mistakes. But the thing is, what do we learn from it? Because if we keep doing it, we're not learning the lesson. So if you learn from it, you don't do it again. So just understand it's going to be okay. You'll be fine. Or maybe just always ask yourself at the end of the day, well, what is one thing that I could make a change to be better? That could be, let's drink a little bit more water. Let's implement this strategy today. Then next week, let's implement this one. Because if you implement one a week, you'll get 52 of these by the end of the week, end of the year. Biggest game changer, understand that every day is the same thing. Don't just treat weekends and weekdays completely different. Bed by 9:30, up by 5:30, that's usually my routine. Well, actually, I lied, bed by 10, up by 5:30. My body clock wakes me up sometimes at 4. I get up and go. But every day is a day. Like, people, they're like, oh, but what about weekends? It's still a day. There's no difference. Like, I have people over at 9:30, I start yawning. I'm like, oh, it's time for bedtime. You need to leave. Or Kate and I leave. And people are like, wow, that's rude. I'm like, no, it's my bedtime. So yeah, same day, every day. If you want to party earlier. Know the benefits. How is going to help you win? Well, at the end of the day, it has all these benefits. All these benefits. Why would you not want to reap these? 1 hour will throw off all of this. Statistically, 1/3 of people don't get more than 7 hours sleep, which varies at 56 to 72 hours in quality. Yet 1 hour sleep improves the ability to control emotions, so we are more productive and can increase the ability to undertake the stored information. Well, if you treat it like I don't need that much sleep, and you go, I need 6 hours, then you get 7, which is the standard of what most people get, which is actually not enough. But if you reshape that belief and pattern, then you can get a lot done on that 7 hours. I was talking this next is a big one. All right, let's forget about beliefs and let's just think about what can we do now which could improve deep sleep, REM sleep, cognitive sleep. So environmental hacks. Pitch black room. There should be no light in your room. No TVs, nada, no electronics. 3 p.m., wear these sexy glasses. 3 p.m. blue light blockers. We'll go into deeper about that one. Leave your phone outside your room. Use an alarm if you need. Make it loud. You'll hear it. It'll get you up over time. Paperback book instead of a Kindle. Again, removing technology. Utilize sleep. There's a thing called a Huggy or that you can use. If you look up Shark Tank, you find it. And there's also this thing called the 8 sleep. Now, just want to be clear, I don't use this. I saw it. I thought it was awesome. It helps to regulate sleep. So literally, like, I'm a hot sleeper, so I would set it to cold on my side. Kate's a cold sleeper. We'd set her side to warm. So you can actually set this to a temperature of about 18 to 20 degrees specific to your body type. So if you're a hot sleeper, this works well to make it cold. If you're a cold sleeper, you can set it up so everyone based off the bed can actually capitalize on the sleep. The only downside is about $4,000. So I'm not saying everyone go buy this. If anyone wants to buy it, please let me know. I would love to make you a guinea pig, an experiment. I am saving up about halfway. So yeah, little things that you can do, which is awesome. So super cheap. Go to Rebel. They're like $70. Grounding sheet, I think it's like 200, and then sleep aid covers about 3,000-4,000. Use crystals. You can use these on your body, on your pillow. You put it under your bed. So that's an easy one. You can go. There's a place in Glebe that's got a crystal store. Making your room super cold, 16 to 18 degrees. So it's actually quite warm for me, but most people it's cold. Have a plant in the room or a plant in every room. They absorb carbon dioxide and they produce oxygen. That's what our body needs. Better needles, salt lamps. As you can see, I don't have a light above my head. It's actually beside me. So it creates, it's like orange light. So it's like the sun's going down. So my body starts to produce that melatonin. Sage smells like can calm you. Peppermint oil, olive oil, not olive oil, lavender, peppermint oil. These are some things that make me feel really relaxed. Again, you might find that you don't like lavender, but peppermint oil does it for you. You can also put them in an air purifier, so it cleans the air. Vacuuming on a weekly basis, this decreases dust. Big one I found. You can use a towel roll where you roll it up for your neck. So if I grab a towel, and what you do is, I'll grab a shirt for this demo. Grab a towel, fold in half. And then what you do is you just roll it up. So I picked this one up from Amy Mason, which is great. Because if you think about your day, posturally, posture's a little bit off. But if you lay on the edge of your bed, place it under the neck, so it's not super like jacked, just gentle on the neck, and you just relax. And it just gently alleviates and lengthens, resets that neck. So then you have less neck tension when going to bed, making it easier to fall asleep. So if you don't want to exercise, just towel under the neck, just breathe and relax. Eye mask makes it easy to make a pitch black room. Blue tack the fire alarm. So even this little light here, that's an irritant. Get rid of that. Weighted blankets. There's evidence that shows 10% of your body weight is quite good. Personally, I'm not a fan of this one. That's why I prefer the Huggy, because it's like a hug. It's great. Well, I prefer it more. I get hot. But so I find that the challenge with weighted blanket is you got to clean it a lot. You've got to, it's just a hassle. But again, something cool that you can use. Get a good mattress. You spend a third of your life on it. We should be spending a third of life on it. So don't go cheap. Koala does good ones. And also to this one, make sure you get a mattress that does pick up and delivery. And what it means is you buy a mattress, they're going to pick up your old mattress, they'll get rid of it for you, and you get a brand new mattress. Because if you buy a brand new mattress and you swap it, you now have an old mattress, and it's like, oh, what do I do? So finding someone that will take it for you is great. Hot showers in the winter, cold showers in the summer, 20 minutes before bed, it's fine. If you're a light sleeper, add white noise. So as James said, you can do podcasts. I used to do that just to help improve memory, to remember more things, the repetition side. But the thing is, creating noise blocks other sounds. So you're less likely to pick up on them. Like if you've got neighbors above you or below you and they're super heavy-footed, white noise can help to block that out. Just literally, it's like static. You can look up in podcasts. If you go on Vitruvian Health, there is actually a sound healing video that goes for about 8 hours repetitively. And you can just play that and it's great. You can use orthotic pillows, earbuds like beeswax. So if you don't want to do white noise, real easy one, beeswax. Go on Amazon, super cheap. You can get like 36 of them or 52. And the thing is, you can reuse beeswax about 30 times before it's a bit gross. So huge cost-effective one there. Sleeping buddies, consider separate bedrooms. So like for myself, I'm super hot, Kate's super cold. She likes to cuddle, and I'm like, oh my God, get away. You're overheating me. So short term, it's great for her. Long term, not great for me. So sometimes sleeping in separate rooms. So that's when you're going to negotiate with your partner. But also that's where the 8 sleep works quite well. So, but again, you got to kind of discuss that with your partner. If you're on your own, godsend. Change beds every 4 to 5 years. Make sure they take it away. Now let's go into intake. So for some people that wake up between 3 and 4, what's actually happening potentially is the dawn phenomenon. So your blood sugar is crashing And then what happens is cortisol picks up and you're looking to pee it out. So the thing that can help is you can actually do a lighter meal. So for me, it's berries, eggs, and coconut cream. No stimulants after 10 a.m. because cortisol helps to where that goes, water goes. You could ingest a bit more salt in your last meal, works quite well for night, or drink Gatorade Zero because it's got electrolytes in it, so that'll hold water. Or just don't eat foods or have stimulants late at night. That's going to make you want to pee. So again, that pinching of the side can be a great one for you to find out. Other intakes, eat at the same time every day, so your body starts to produce, that's that microbiome Kathleen's talking about. That'll help with digestion. Eat last meal 2.5 hours before your bed. This was a big one. I used to do 1.5 hours, but I realized testing with Kate is that what happened was her HRV and body temp actually was 2 degrees higher and her score was about 20 lower. When we pushed to 2.5 hours before bed, easier on digestion, so there was less, wasn't as heavy in the gut. Her HRV went up by 20, which just means her heart was working better, and her core temperature went down 2 degrees. So she actually didn't feel too hot. You can supplement with magnesium last meal, like I said, but if you really want to get on top of sleep, supplement it in the day, like at lunchtime. So if you're like, oh, I want a coffee, have magnesium instead. Talking about coffee, this is an old thing that I used. It does need tweaking, but literally in summary, it just looks at how coffee, most people will do like 1 or 2. So if you're looking here, what's happening is the half-life of coffee that Kathy was talking about. By the end of the week, if you did a coffee every single day, you still have 18 milligrams of caffeine in your body. Because the thing is, you'll have 12.5 by the next day, but you have another coffee, which is about 100 milligrams of caffeine. It's a little bit more. Now, if you're getting tired or lethargic, what do you tend to do? You tend to reach for more. So if you're having 3 to 4 shots, it can be higher. Now, I'm talking about barista-made coffee. If you're making it yourself, it's different. Like if you're doing 1 sachet, or you're getting like a wheat coffee, or you're doing like teas, it's got 5-10 milligrams in it. So this is just pure long black barista-made coffee. And this is from a barista that's okay with making coffee. A really good barista is really good at this stuff, and their caffeine is a little bit low. So just depends where you get your coffee from. What the hell does coffee do for me? I hear it's good, but now I'm hearing it's bad. What the hell, Carl? So think of it this way. If your body, to produce energy, it's got a keyhole. And you have the key, and it unlocks it. Now let's think of it this way. If you're getting about 7 to 8 hours sleep and it's good, it means that your body, as Kathy says, it's like a washing machine, will clean these handles and doorknobs. Now, if you get 1 less hour sleep, so you're not getting enough, think about over time, over months, what happens is those doors, they get rusted. So then you can only access 1 or 2. So then your ability to access energy becomes limited. Okay? So, you wake up, you got a bit of energy, but then it's go time at work. You need more. Oh, shit. Coffee helps to help clean or wash away what's known as adenosine. So that means we now have access to all of them. We're ready to go again. However, if every day one of these gets rusted, and then over 3-4 months, 1.5, then 2, what happens is we become reliant on more and more coffee to clean this more and more and more. But what's happening is our body's ability to recover is declining because more and more of these are rusting away faster and sooner. So we go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, might even get all the way up to 16. And then the day you don't have coffee, you're like, oh my God, I feel like dog's breakfast. So, holy crap, Carl, that's so much already. What do I do? Like, but I want to drink coffee. Cool. Let's implement something now. Everyone just close their eyes, take a deep breath. Exhale. And again, breathe in, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath there for a second. And then exhale. Breathe in again, 4 seconds in. Hold it there. And then exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you notice any difference whatsoever? That's known as the 4-4 breathing method. Something you can just do right away is just taking that time to breathe. You can use solar plex release. You can use nose strips. That's going to open up your nostrils. You can even just put your fingers next to your nose, pull to the side, and you'll find it's now easier to breathe. So instead of just, you can teach yourself to sleep like this. I used to, because I used to have blocked noses all the time. But you can save yourself the trouble and just get nose strips so much easier. Use creams, sprays, just be mindful you don't get over addicted to it, neti pots, and as I said, oils. Movement that you can do. So if you literally scan this right now, you'll get sent to a video called the Vitruvian Core 4, and it is really good to open up your hips, thoracic, lower back, your neck, and your shoulders. So it allows you to then take that deeper breath. I'll leave it there for a sec so everyone can scan. It's definitely gone over. All right, intake hacks, power through. Again, no stimulants after 10. Because again, the half-life is 6 hours, 10 till 4, and then 10 p.m. again. So you at least have half and half of that, so a quarter of those stimulants. Now, there are times where I may personally myself do some coffee as well. So let's quickly power back through. Let's quickly run through what do I do. So I do that one, I do that one, I do that one, that one, that one. I don't do this one. I don't write. I'm done. I do that. I do that one. I don't do that. Sometimes I judge myself. Game changer. Yep. Benefits. Yep. Yep. Most times. Yep. 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 I don't do this one. K makes me do that one, so sometimes I forget. Yeah, I do that one, and I do that one. So already out of 25, I don't do 6 of them. This one. So I just want to show you that, everyone, that I don't do all of these as well. So just understand that these aren't all one third. I don't do this. I actually just lay on my back and I twist my legs side to side. I do twisting, but I don't do this forward flexion or shoulders. I do what's known as a Lowett floss. It's literally one palm up, one palm down, and I twist in and out. So again, I do something different. I don't do that one. Again, stimulants, I sometimes do it at 3 o'clock. Sometimes me and Eddie like to go for a walk at 1:30. We go to Single get some sun, walk through the park, and then we get coffee. So again, just want to be clear, don't do all of these as well, so I can still make changes. So, you know, if you're feeling a little bit overloaded, just take a breather and just look at the things that stand out to you. Have your last meal hour, 2 to 4, 5 hours before, 1 hour before, has seen an increase in core temperature, as I said. Protein-rich sources to aid fasting state. So from a body comp perspective, if you think about it, when you eat your last meal, you're now going to go to sleep. So if you don't eat, you eat, you've got a 2-hour window before you go to bed, and then you sleep for 8 hours. That's a 10-hour window where you're fasted. So I personally like to increase my protein pre-bed. So I have it digests slower over time, but it decreases the anabolic window from body composition. So it decreases the fasted state for my body. So I'm going to maximize muscle hypertrophy. So if you're thinking cognitive, a little less, body comp, a little more. Stop drinking alcohol within 4 hours before bed, or preferably at all. Really screws up sleep. Sip on liquids 3 hours before your bed. So I think if you're drinking, say, 500 mils of water every hour, 3 hours before bed, just decrease that. Though personally, I don't even notice an effect. I do about 1 liter of fluids before, like literally before bed, and I do not wake up to pee. People that wake up to pee, you have something going on with blood sugars. So something you're eating at nighttime is messing up your body. But you can implement salts to help with that. Medication, make sure you check with doctors on this one. But there are ones that can affect water load in sleep. So it could be just triggering if you're having medication or subs. Magnesium, big one, decreases anxiety, mood. Citrate helps with muscles. So if you're feeling physically exhausted, not getting physical sleep, magnesium citrate would be good. If mentally feeling tired, have glycinate. So if you're finding that you're wired and tired before you go to sleep, utilize magnesium glycinate. Personally, magnesium trimag, I love it. Big one. I guys have samples in the gym that you can always use. I don't really use magnesium citrate because I'm all about getting on top of this one, cognitive sleep. So if you can calm that mind, you're going to find that you fall asleep sooner, and magnesium citrate just train harder. Orotate, whole bunch of forms that can help. Now, number one hack that you can start using today is literally the blue light glasses, as I said, or just turn all your lights off and put lights, side lamps on instead. But the reason for this is it decreases the light that's emitted on your eyeball. So other things you can do, so I pull out my phone. So videos, these are all in color, so if you guys can all see it. So what you're doing is you want to just decrease blue light production. So you can literally set a function on your phone, everything's grayscale. So you're not getting that blue light, because blue light keeps cortisol up. And then if cortisol is up, what happens, everyone? Melatonin doesn't get to increase. So you can do more carbs at nighttime because that's going to spike serotonin. But again, if you're staying in this peak state where cortisol stays higher, it's just going to be harder for that body to do what it does best. 9 times out of 10, we mostly screw it up. So how is everyone feeling? I think I've answered most of the questions. So if you're waking up feeling lethargic or tired and something's up with your sleep, that's a real big alert sign. If you're waking up between 3 and 4, probably something you're eating in the evening or afternoon that's setting off blood sugar. So what happens is your blood sugar goes down, cortisol picks you up, so you don't have a hypoglycemic fit, and your body wakes you up. But then you go, oh, I got to pee, because cortisol mobilizes blood sugars. So that is just maybe there's something you're eating, and you could probably maybe some people it's changing their carbs, some people could be increasing their fats at nighttime or changing their proteins. Quality, stop waking up. Hopefully, I've addressed that. Have I not answered anyone's questions yet? Or are we all feeling good? We feel these hacks have covered them. Good. Great. Well, has everyone written down all their things that they're going to do? Of course, Carl. I've done everything. Definitely. Do you feel it's going to work? Maybe. Well, let's go into it. Let's look at things that you can. How would you apply it? When would you apply it? Well, let's quickly do some AM habits. So you guys can get your phones out, take some photos. This is literally what you could do. So I'm going to literally look at all of those habits and tracks and things that are going to help you. And let's just literally apply some right now. So number one, first thing you do, wake up at the same time every single day. Done. Piece of cake. Make sure you get sunlight on your eyeballs, at least 20 minutes, preferably 30, but at least 10 to 20 minutes through the day. Maybe go for a walk, middle of the day. Calm yourself. Get a trampoline, bounce into it in the morning. Or put your favorite song on, bounce up and down on the spot. You can do 10 minutes, you do 5 minutes, you do 3 minutes. Favorite song, whatever it is. Mine plays for about 4 minutes. Kate does not like that song because it sticks in the head. Nope. But it's really catchy, it's really bouncy, and that's something you can do. Work out earlier in the day because that's going to bring core temperature up. It also means that once you've trained, you can then get to work. But if you work and they go, oh, I got to train, oh, you've got 2 things you've got to think about. I'd rather think about less things. So get it out of the way. Hydrate your body, first thing. So when you wake up, Celtic sea salts or lemon and limes to help with digestion, stimulate gastric juices. These are things that will help the body. All you're doing is, if you've been asleep for 7 to 9 hours, mouth's been open, it's dry, you've dehydrated yourself. Rehydrate. 70% of the body's made up of water. During the day, work with blue light, blocking glasses. Start with no glasses in the morning. Then wear normal glasses, like these ones, because these seem more normal. People think they're all right. And then if you're concerned about how you look, then wear these just when you get home. Or just wear them all the time. So those are things you do. No students past 10, but utilize herbal teas, things like L-theanine, because they also help to manage mental focus and clarity. Protein-rich meals and fats to manage your blood sugar. So think about when you train, more carbs, don't train, more fats. That's kind of my quick pro rule. Napping is okay, but don't nap after about 3 o'clock. And just think 20, 30 minutes, usually in the park. Or, hell, go to the gym, use the locker rooms for 20 minutes. Just bring a mat in, pillow. It's all great. PM habits. Turning screens off 2 hours before you go to bed. Yes, we're all on screens right now, but we're using things or tools to help us manage that. So again, don't beat yourself up. Go to bed between 9 and 11 and set an alarm. Heck, if you're going to bed at 9:30, I have an alarm goes off at 9 o'clock, and it's like wind down time. Like, set yourself those habits. Sometimes if you have chamomile tea, sleep time tea, things that can help, reishi supplements. Okay, I've talked about this. Take a short walk before you go to bed. Clear your head. But also, if you're feeling, oh man, that food's hitting me, Going for a walk is going to help digestion. Sleep on your back, spread it out. Yep, that's a big one. Get comfortable, sleep naked, sleep starkers, because wearing clothing will trap heat, and so your body overheats, and that will also affect growth hormone production. So if you're sleeping with clothing, you could actually be decreasing your body's growth hormone production. So that affects fat loss and muscle growth. So that is a huge one that can definitely help. Just everyone sleep naked. Don't get naked yet. Make your bed. Only sleep and sex in the sleep room. And if you don't have a partner, there are other things you can do. Always have an orgasm before bed. Everyone should win. So guys, girls, don't be selfish. Let everybody win. By yourself, win twice. Taking a shower before you go to bed will decrease your internal body temp. You're also able to manipulate and change it. So that's what I really like about showers, is that you literally can regulate. So if it's really hot, start with a hot shower and then go cold. And so what will happen is there'll be a huge shift in your body temperature straight away, and that will set the body into calm and relaxation. Clear your mind. Focus on clear intentions of one thing you want to achieve. Meditation for a couple of hours or minutes, not hours, and mind dump. Honestly, I'd mind dump heaps. And just keeping it clear, like what's one thing you want to achieve today or tomorrow? For me, it was, what was my one thing I wanted to get done today? It was literally to have a contract finished. And I did. It was great. And then everything else is just a bonus. Actually, I lied. I was to have a meeting with Cami, and then I did that first thing in the morning, and then like the rest of the day, I'm going to smash it. So one thing, clear intention. It also means that anything on top of that is just a bonus. You should have an adequate chill time before you sleep. Always have time for yourself. Like, you can be playing a video game. Yes, you'll be on your phone before 9, but if gaming is your thing, set a time limit, 20 minutes or one game only. Or if you're taking your phone into the bedroom, maybe you just go, yeah, okay, I'm going to watch 10-minute video, time is set, it'll go off. That's to prompt and remind you. You can even play with it. 10, 20 minutes. 10 minutes goes off, put the phone down. 20 minutes later, no, seriously, put the phone down or else. It's like, oh, shit, my phone's getting serious. Have fun with it. And that is a wrap. So hopefully you feel wiser, more knowledgeable, and ready to go to sleep, chillax, and have a lovely evening.
Hey, thanks so much for joining the episode of Table Talk today. We hope you found some helpful tips and inspiration in staying healthy and fit, even with a busy schedule. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Stay tuned for our next conversation. Until then, keep prioritizing yourself, your health, your fitness, and we'll see you on the next Table Talk.